I'm Scott Atwell, president of the FSU Alumni Association, coming to you from Cirque Du Soleil in Orlando. You know, ever since Florida State became a university in 1947, it has staged one of the most unique extracurricular activities in all of higher education, a circus. Over the years, literally thousands of FSU students have taken part in the Flying High Circus, and to a person, if you talk to them, they'll tell you it was one of the most rewarding aspects of their undergraduate careers. But for some, it was something even more. It was a training ground for their profession. Rob Dawson is one of those lucky few. A 1993 graduate, he has set aside his degree in criminology to literally run off with the circus as an artist and performer with Cirque du Soleil's La Nuba in Orlando. Rob joins us today, and thanks for taking time. When was the first time you realized this was something that you wanted to do for a career and that you could do for a career?
I would say while I was at Florida State. I was in the circus there for 4 years, and towards the end of my time there, I realized that if there's a possibility, that's something I'd like to do. So, right after I graduated, I actually went to work at Silver Springs theme park in Ocala. There was a Tarzan stunt show there back in the day. There was, for 2 years they had it like in '93 and '95, and I went there and I did the show there.
Well, how did the Cirque du Soleil job come about?
Well, I was working in Orlando at SeaWorld. And the head rigger here at the time was a good friend of mine. And then when they were building the arena here in '98 and doing all the rigging, I signed on as a rigger. While I was there was nothing in the building. We hung everything. We hung the trapeze nets, the lights, and everything. And then I had an audition tape with some stuff from Florida State on it and some other stuff from SeaWorld and different theme parks I'd worked at. And I gave that to the artistic director. And then about a month later, I got a call from Montreal, and I went to Montreal to train.
Well, how did FSU prepare you to be in the professional circus?
Well, it definitely taught me my career. I learned how to catch flying trapeze at Florida State. But more importantly, it taught me teamwork. It taught me work ethic. The show must go on, no matter what, no matter how I'm feeling. If I'm sick, if I'm just not feeling up to it, I come into work every day, because it's part of me now, and that's something I learned there.
Now, I've often wondered how, for instance, Broadway stars can go on stage and turn the light on night after night after night, because at some point you cross over and it's a job. So how do you do it? How do you come on stage every night, twice a night, and perform as if it's the first time you've ever done it?
It becomes an overall mindset, and it's funny, I was talking with a colleague just last week about this. You have to know that it's part of your life. You wake up and you're going to do the show. No matter what you're feeling, you're going to come in and do the show. So, and I would imagine on Broadway, it's the same thing. It's you get up, you have breakfast, and in your mind, you already know that you're going to go do shows that night, no matter what. So it does get monotonous, but it's what you do.
Well, tell me about your legacy. You have a very long bloodline with the circus and the Florida State Circus that I'm sure steered you in this direction.
My father was actually in the FSU circus as well. He was in during the '60s. My sister was there in the late '80s. I went to Florida State in 1989, hoping to play baseball. I tried to walk on and didn't make it, but I knew some people in the circus from when my sister was there. So I kind of graduated over to that, and I had such a good time, and I loved the camaraderie and the whole idea of it, and it stuck. And
what did your dad say when you told him you wanted to set aside that criminology degree and actually do this for a career?
He was the happiest guy around for sure. My mom, on the other hand, I don't think so, but my dad was like 100% excited. So.
Well, what's it like being part of this Cirque du Soleil family, which is arguably around the world recognized as the leader in technique and artistry in the circus world? What's it like being part of that day after day?
It makes it easy to come to work. It's such a great company. Cirque du Soleil it's an amazing company for its employees. It is the pinnacle of not only circus, but also theater now. They have over 20 shows throughout the world. So there's plenty of opportunity for growth. It's just a great working environment, and it's always fun to be here in front of 1,500 people twice a night. So I love it.
What about the FSU Connection? You get to come here every day and run into your old mates, your old Seminole mates. What's that like?
That's great, because I think there's 4 here now. We've had a couple others in past. But some really good friends of mine. One of the guys actually stays with me at my place. So it's great to have guys, from the old school back here. It's fun.
What's an average day like for you?
Typical day, like let's say today. I come in at 2 o'clock. We have warm-up because we have training. So we have a half-hour mandatory warm-up. So we stretch. We have certain exercises that the company ask us to do, and then stuff we do on our own to get ready. We'll train for an hour and a half. Then there's a mandatory company meeting at 4 o'clock today, so that's about a half hour, and that goes through show-related stuff, who's in, who's out, who's hurt. And then we'll do 2 shows. We'll do 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And about 10:30, 11, I'm home. So.
You talk about people getting injured. I suspect that this is serious work. There's danger involved in it, isn't it?
No, for sure. It is dangerous, but the most important thing is safety. We train, the trapeze team trains 3 times a week. So we have a trapeze net. We have safety lines for when you're learning. So we make everything as safe as possible, but in this type of business, of course, there's risk.
Well, I'm sure you're well aware that you're not the only FSU alumnus who is working professionally in the circus. There's others in ringling and in the flying pages and have done it over the years. What are your thoughts about how FSU circus has spawned professional performers over the years?
Well, I think it's, for me, it's been a great career choice. I actually, like I said, after I graduated college, I went and I worked for an old company called Scotty's Hardware. It was like a hardware company before Home Depot and Lowe's came out. And it was, I was a loss prevention officer for Scotty's. And I did that for 6 months between acrobatic gigs, and I just stuck with acrobatics, and I've stayed with it since in show business, and I love it. It's in my blood.
So no plans soon of going back to the criminology degree, is that right?
I don't think so. Unless there's some sort of criminology thing within the company, I don't think so.
All right, very good. Well, Rob Dawson, thank you very much for taking time today, and thank you for making us proud.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's going to do it for this edition of Florida State University Headlines. I'll remind you the FSU Alumni Association is a membership-based organization, and if you or someone you know would like to be a member, the information at the bottom of the screen will be of help. On behalf of the 280,000 FSU alumni around the world, I'm Scott Atwell. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.